Welcome to the Sweet Smiles podcast, where smiles are baked into every story. I'm Chelsea Bogg, Marketing Director with Icing Smiles, and in this podcast, we share the heartfelt stories of the families, volunteer bakers, donors, and community members who make our mission possible. Every dream cake has a story behind it, and today we're sharing one of those stories. Today, I'm joined with our operations director, Lauren Smith. Lawrence came to Icing Smiles through the cake side and has grown with the organization, and we're so excited to have her here today. Hey, Lauren.
Hi, Chelsea.
Thanks for being here. So let's start at the beginning. Can you tell me a little bit about your family and Xavier?
Of course. So I have 5 kiddos, and they range from almost 3 to almost 21. And Xavier's our medical kiddo and how I found Icing Smiles.
I love that. So what was your process to finding Icing Smiles?
We were in the hospital for going on 6 months, and Xavier's birthday was coming up. And at that time, my little boy was everything free under the sun for allergies. And so I really wanted to find him a cake. And so I Googled special needs birthdays. And Icing Smiles popped up. I completed this super simple application, and I had no hopes because, again, when I say he was free of everything, it was gluten-free, dairy-free, egg-free, soy-free, nut-free, everything free. I literally thought we were going to get a watermelon.
That's amazing. And it's so cool how, as I go through these interviews, the different ways that people find us and what an amazing a Google search can do. And that you don't know that people are going to search these things, but we're getting out there and people are hearing about us. So what was life like at the time? What was Xavier's condition and what put you all in the hospital?
Yeah, Xavier was born with HLHS and also has mitochondrial disease. At that time, we didn't know of the mito. So we were taking care of the cardiac side, but we didn't know why we were having all these respiratory and GI issues going on. And it was about that time that we started doing whole exome sequencing and we're able to get his mito diagnosis. So it was a really dark place because he was entering those preteen age stage where he wanted answers. He wanted to know why was this happening? And much like some kiddos, Xavier looks like your normal kiddo. So for him, seeing himself and seeing his friends and seeing his peers and appearing to be the same, we had a very dark time of why? Why me? When I look like everyone else.
Yeah, the why question is hard. And it's something that a lot of the kids we serve do from the outside look normal. And it's part of the joy of what we get to do is make sure that they get that feeling of normal, even during a time where even if they may look it, it's not normal. It's not what anybody should be dealing with, but it's a beautiful thing that we get to be a part of in creating this little bit of normalcy.
Absolutely.
But I love that got you to us. You found about Icing Smiles. Can you tell us a little bit about Xavier's cake?
Yeah, so Xavier's very first cake was a baseball themed cake. At that time, he was really big into baseball, specifically Corey Dickerson. He was a little name person, had no clue he was. He wanted a Corey cake. And so we got this amazing cake. She wouldn't tell me anything. We got this amazing baseball themed cake. And she was like, it's completely free. Xavier can eat it, like free of all of his things he can't have. And I was a little hesitant because, again, we're trusting someone. And with the condition Xavier had, if he ate something of those allergens, it affected him on the inside rather than having an anaphylactic reaction. So it was really serious. And so she gave me this cake. She reassured me everything would be fine. But just receiving a cake that I knew was safe for Xavier and that someone could actually create this amazing baseball cake was like the first time I saw Xavier smile in so long.
It gives me chills. And it's so true that a lot of things that come with medical conditions are restrictions and allergies. And just in general, people deal with allergies. And the fact that at Icing Smiles, we're able to accommodate these things, we're able to help a family find a baker that feels comfortable with this and put the trust in the baker to serve this cake of their needs is huge.
Absolutely. And it's the big thing of trust, as we'll get into who our bakers are, but knowing that this baker made this cake, but just trusting that she took Xavier's health very seriously.
And it shows the love of our bakers
Oh,
that
yes.
they are going to put that time and that love into every cake they do and take it seriously. Everything from allergies to design to making sure that kid smiles at the end of the cake.
Oh yeah, and I'll never forget her walking up our stairs to deliver it and that smile and just like it was me, like it was for me. I got to be celebrated. It wasn't about, what appointment you had that coming Monday or what you just went through on Friday. This Saturday was all about Xavier and this cake that honestly my son, I couldn't tell you the last time he ate cake because as you and I know, cakes have everything in them.
Right.
So
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that story so much. So let's get into then a little bit about what point did your relationship with Icing Smiles then shift from being a recipient of a cake to then getting involved?
I want to say end of year one when I went to apply again. I was on the website, I believe, just looking at how to apply again for another cake for Xavier, and I saw the volunteer tab. Filled out this little application, and I got contacted by Karen at the time. And she kind of went down the process. And what really drew me in is she said, I have Florida available to schedule. And to me, that just added such a special connection because I live in Florida. So it was like, I get to schedule kiddos that are in our community. Like, there was more so like these kiddos could be in Xavier support groups. It just was a more personal connection. And I held on to Florida for a very long time.
It is cool how knowing your side of the story, and as we'll get into it, and bear with us, everybody. Lauren and I have a great relationship, work together frequently. So we might bounce around a little bit and hear about the past and kind of moving to the future. But a beautiful part about where you started and then where the organization is today, the growth that has happened within the operations department. We used to have individual volunteers scheduling and coordinating every single cake manually, hands on. And we've been able to grow our process where now Lauren oversees a smaller team and we're able to implement technology so we can put our volunteers more to use on spreading the word, spreading the mission, getting the word of Icing Smiles out there, and not taking up so much of their time in the hands-on and using technology to kind of map these processes, which is really exciting.
Absolutely.
But back to where we were before I jumped myself around. So you found out at Icing Smiles, you wanted to be a volunteer with us. And then what are you able to use from your personal experience with Xavier's Cake and learning about the organization to then use that into your role today?
So I have a hard time saying no. I will say that. Being on the operations side, you deal a lot with the families and hearing their stories and hearing what they've gone through. I get it. You get it. And so it's really hard knowing that, hey, I missed this deadline. I missed this, or I forgot this because I was sitting in a hospital bed, or I have two healthy kiddos and I had to deal with 4 appointments. So for me, it's really hard to say no. And I just understand that a medical family, it's so sorry. It's so much more than just applying for the cake. It's the process of getting to apply for that for the family. And I just feel like if they found us for a reason, and we need to bring them joy.
It's all about the joy, creating the memories, being together. But the process has to be in place. We are a nationwide nonprofit. We need rules, we need structure. But our goal and our job is to make this as easy as possible for the families to apply for the cake, to meet their baker, and to get to their joy and their beautiful moment because we know the amount that they're dealing with. We've experienced it. They're experiencing it in the thick of it, that these moments need to be positive and happy and joy filled.
Yes.
So we've gone through, I think this will be podcast 5 now, which is exciting. And thank you to everybody tuning in who's been along the journey and bearing with me as I'm learning the process. But one thing kind of brought to my attention was we've talked about a lot of the founder. We've talked about our local outreach program. We've talked about Mike, who served amazing cakes. But we haven't really said, hey, what is Icing Smiles? So we're going to go into a little bit about explaining what Icing Smiles is and who we serve.
Icing Smiles provides celebration custom cakes to families impacted by critical illness. One thing I love about Icing Smiles, and when I tell anyone, is what's super special for us is not only can the kiddos be going through treatment, they can be a little bit outside, but Icing Smiles includes the siblings. And as a medical family that has siblings, the siblings are often put on the back burner, to say, because you're dealing with a medical child and the constant appointments and the constant things that come with it. That being able to celebrate them and make them feel special, to me, we're one of the very few, if only, ones that focus as well on the siblings.
The siblings need to be just as important as the medical child. We want the medical child to have that moment of normalcy, to be celebrated, to feel the joy. These cakes are used for birthdays. They're used for end of treatments. We don't say you must use your cake for this.
Graduation.
Yes, graduation's a big one. And truly, like, I'm okay. Apply for a cake to celebrate life. That's what we want. See, these cakes are supposed to be happy, but oftentimes siblings do have to take a back burner. Appointments are endless, things are happening in life, and you have to take a step back. So we want them to have their time in the spotlight also. And since we're talking about who our cakes are served to, we want it for nobody, but we do create memorial cakes as well. And it's something that, again, a big part of our program is if we can take one thing off of your plate. Tracy talked about it a little bit when I chatted with her. It's about the child, it's about them, but it's also about the moms. It's about the moms who the weight of the world's on their shoulders and they have so much to do. And scheduling a birthday cake and somebody handling that aspect is monumental.
And I think for us, since she spoke on memorial cakes, for us in operations, memorial cakes are one of those things that make us stop and just pause and really remember the mission of Icing Smiles. And those ones are hard. They're really hard. But you just know that the joy you're going to bring to that family when they receive that cake, especially whether it's a year or 2 years after that child has passed, oftentimes we've served them previously. And so to come back to us and know that we serve a memorial cake just tells you how impactful Icing Smiles was to that family.
That's a great point because, like you said, a lot of them are thankfully receiving cakes while they're alive, that it's full circle for the families that we can create smiles after they've passed as well. I joined this position after receiving a memorial cake myself, and which is a big reason of why I want to plug it. I want no person to understand the journey that I travel, but if you do, we're here for you.
Absolutely. And I just want to say, I think the two awesome days that I think is so cool for siblings that are often cake days, which I'm not a baker, but siblings, believe it or not, the most randomest 2 days of the year is May 4th and Halloween. The number of sibling cake requests that we get for random events, May the 4th and Halloween.
That's awesome. I love these fun facts.
Yeah. I think that's so cool. Or if I'm rescheduling, say a family missed a deadline and I'm like, hey, let's reschedule you. Let's get you scheduled for a cake this year. They're like, but we have nothing to celebrate. And I'm like, do you like Star Wars? And if they say yes, they think it's the coolest thing. Or just a summer party. Like if we're in between and it's not quite, October yet, a summer party is a big, but May 4th weekend or weekday and Halloween, I get a kick out of it every time because it's random.
Right? Hey, but we love a reason to celebrate.
And we love cake.
Exactly. So, how does working with Icing Smiles differ from then just ordering a cake from a bakery?
Oh, it's so much more. So for us, I think it's the personal connection. It's our bakers sign up because they want to help. They want to give back. They want to bring joy. Um, and they believe that they can do so. So for us, and for them, they're creating so much more than a cake. When they give the cake to the child, yes, they may be physically giving a cake, but to that family, it's the memories, it's the smiles, it's the happiness, it's everything else that is unsaid and unseen. That is so much.
As a baker, because I am, and people pay me for a cake, those cakes still bring smiles. But then you add the aspect of Icing Smiles onto it, and the fact that we have these volunteers across the United States who are ready and they're begging, they're like, when's my turn? I want to bake another cake. Like, I want that experience again. They get the joy, the family gets the joy. It's something taken off their plate. It's about ease, it's about happiness, and it's so much more than just ordering a cake.
And it gives the bakers that creative outlet. And as you say, you've wanted to try something, you get the opportunity to try that right now.
Yes, even being on this side of things, I got a call to action last week and I accepted it. I am getting creative. I'm like, how can I make this a showstopper? How can I set it apart? I don't need to do exactly anything like I've ever done before, like any other baker's done before. How can I make this stand out?
You get to showcase you. So I feel like in our cakes, we also get to see the baker. And our bakers show so much joy and so much love, and they're proud. Our bakers are extremely proud of the masterpieces that they create.
Yes, and they should be. They deserve those moments of being proud. All that being said, we know that the cakes bring happiness and they bring joy, but let's get into how does it work? Let's go through step by step the process of a family listening right now and thinking, wow, this program could really help us. How do they apply for a cake?
Super simple. You will go on our website, icingsmiles.org. At the top, you can either do it one of two ways. You can click on the family FAQs, which we highly recommend that you read those just to kind of answer some of your questions, rest assured, ease some concerns you may have. And then you will get to a link for an application. Our application probably takes 2 to 3 minutes. You'll put in some demographics. If you have our medical eligibility form, also known as the MEF, completed by your child's physician, you can upload it there. If not, you can still apply. And once we get your application, we will send you an email for a medical form. In our email, it will have everything you need to know, your due dates, what's needed, and you can always respond back to us and ask questions.
Once they've applied for their cake, if they haven't gotten their medical eligibility form yet, let's talk a little bit about, for those who are new to us, how do you determine if a child is eligible for an Icing Smiles cake?
So Icing Smiles determines if they're eligible if they have a life-threatening or a life-altering medical condition. On our medical form, we have some conditions that are automatically approved. Then we also allow if they have extended hospital stays or frequent hospital visits, or there's a selection for if they have a condition that's not on our form, because we know there's rare diseases out there. And then within those conditions, they have to be within 2 years of active treatment. Icing Smiles defines active treatment as a period of time the child is going under direct interventions that they're not considered in maintenance or stable. So if they meet that, the doctor will fill out the form and they'll send it back to us. We review the form, and if all is good to go, we will go ahead and process the application and send them their approval.
Awesome. So they get approved, they're ready to go. How do they get paired with their sugar angel?
We have some eager families. If you apply now, you're going to hear from us about 60 days prior. If your event is sooner than 60 days, right off the bat, you will get an email from us to collect your cake details. For Icing Smiles, our families get to pick the theme, 2 colors, their flavor of their cake, and then Icing Smiles provides up to 40 servings. So when we get that back, we start right away by pairing with a baker. We have a wonderful CRM that we use for scheduling, and we have an amazing technology team that has put in a bunch of wonderful gadgets to help us locate bakers. When you apply, you put in your event address, and we kind of just honestly click some buttons. And we click those buttons, we determine if you are wanting a fun cake or a dream cake. We say, okay, do you have any allergens? Do you not? And then we get a list of bakers in our system. We select them and we send out call to actions to our amazing bakers, and we wait for someone to accept.
That's great. I know when I receive that call to action, I'm like, quick, I have to do it. It's like, I want to make sure I get that call to action. But this process, it's amazing that when we implemented the CRM, the customer relationship management system, that capacity that we're able to get with Icing Smiles is now so much bigger than when we had such a manual process. So it's such a positive improvement and change. There's been a lot of love and time put behind it. But now with this improvement,
now we need the outreach. That's why we're here. That's what the podcast is about. The local outreach team. We're spreading the word and we're ready for your cake.
Definitely. And we have a ton of bakers ready. Boots on the ground is the biggest thing to help us get your cakes in your hands, whether you're a baker listening to this or a family. We have some hard hit areas where we could definitely use some more bakers, and helping spread those words is how we're going to get them.
It's so true. If you know somebody who could benefit from our cake, just shoot them our link. Send them icingsmiles.org. They can apply for the cake, but put the word out there. Help us spread the mission.
Absolutely. And even if you're unsure if they qualify or not, I always say we set parameters. We leave it up to the doctor to determine if you meet those parameters. So if you're like, hey, my neighbor has, this going on, do they qualify? We always say, shoot them our website, shoot them our medical form, let the doctor determine if they meet the criteria.
Definitely. So they apply for the cake. We start the process. They get matched with the sugar angel, but who are these sugar angels?
These sugar angels are exactly that. They are amazing little angels. Once we get a baker, you get matched. The family is informed via email. So our sugar angels can be hobbyist bakers. They can be licensed storefront bakers. They can be food cottage bakers. I always tell everyone, whether you bake cakes or decorated sugar cookies, apply to Icing Smiles and we will direct you. And if for some reason you question if your skill sets are there, as long as your heart is in it, you can provide a cake.
Yes. Our bakers put so much love into it, and it's great. I'm a cottage food baker. For people who don't know that term, each state has laws and rules and regulations on baking and selling out of your home, which is what I do. But I have a culinary degree and baking is my love and my passion, but it's helpful for me that I'm able to still use that passion towards this mission without having that licensed kitchen, without having a storefront. For families who might be listening to understand how this works, we do share kitchen safety regulations. We had asked that all of these are abided by. And we are transparent with our families also, letting them know if their baker is a licensed baker. That way, if for some reason, like Lauren's situation with the allergies that she dealt with Xavier, you have that option to talk through the allergies, ensure that your concerns are being taken seriously. And in the event you get paired with a baker that it's not the right fit, then we can adjust.
Absolutely. One thing that we get asked sometimes, and usually a big thing in the oncology world and transplant world, is the licensed baker. And so it's super important to let us know ahead of time so that we can be sure right off the bat that we're meeting the criteria that your transplant team requires you to have, because we do want to be able to provide you a cake. And the sooner we know that, the sooner we can make sure that we're meeting those requirements.
Yeah, great point. So you mentioned this slightly before, but let's talk a little bit about the customization of the cake. What can the child choose? And then how does the baker then get to take that?
Yeah, so you can let your little kiddo's imagination run wild. We do have to pull it back in just a little bit. So you can pick the theme of your cake. And that could be Bluey, that could be Spider-Man, that could be, right now, a big theme, believe it or not, Chelsea, is the brain tag 6-7. Yes, the amount of cakes that we are getting for the theme of 6-7 is big. Yes.
Wow.
So you can get super creative with it. We just had our nephew's little birthday and his theme was holy cannoli on one little meatball. So yes. So you can provide us some information, but Icing Smiles, one of the big things that we allow our bakers to do is we allow the creativity up to them. So we just ask that you not provide very specific details for your child's cake theme, but we want you to rest assured that your baker is going to provide you an amazing cake. We're confident that they will be able to meet your theme requirements. Icing Smiles allows you to pick 2 colors for your main color and your secondary of your cake. I often tell people, and we often get asked, does that mean it's the only 2 colors that's going to be on the cake? And that is absolutely not the case at all. It's just usually most people put their kiddos' favorite colors there. Another popular thing that I see, because I'll get asked all the time, is if I put red and blue, does that mean my whole Spider-Man cake's going to be red and blue? Absolutely not. What I encourage people to put to allow the baker even more freedom, which they enjoy, is put to match the theme. And then the entire thing is up to the baker. It's a complete surprise. Icing Smiles does allow our families to pick vanilla or chocolate cake. and we allow our families to pick up to 40 servings. And then they can pick if they would like something written on the cake. So we get all that information, we send it over to our sugar angels, and I, again, am not a baker, but that's where you get to have the creative freedom, get your wheels running, and design this amazing cakes. And sometimes our bakers send back drawings, and I am just in awe, again, of these things that they create. Bakers will reach out to get more clarification, to tailor the cake to your child, because our bakers want your child to receive the cake that they want, as well as allowing the baker that freedom to provide an amazing cake that matches your child's theme request.
The balance there is beautiful, that we get to take what the kid wants, and that's what our goal is out there to make. But then as a baker, you get to be creative, you get to have fun with it. You can trial new elements that could be a showstopper and really make it into the kid's dream cake. So the baker gets it, they make this incredible cake. Tell us a little bit about the delivery and celebration portion of our cakes.
Icing Smiles does ask that our families pick up. However, there are occasions where our bakers feel safer delivering the cake. I'll be honest, I don't like driving with cake. I'm sure you're one that wants it.
I prefer to deliver it, but we have different levels and sizes of cakes as well.
Absolutely.
We watch out for our bakers and their time commitment, but a lot of them are ready to go and wanting to help and get that cake to you safely.
Absolutely. So about 14 days prior to your child's events, we will send out an email like, hey, let's get the ball rolling. Is your baker going to offer you delivery? Are you going to pick up? Where are you going to pick up from? And this is also a time where the bakers will usually say, hey, let's confirm your party count. Are you sure you only need 15 servings? Are you sure you only need 30 servings? So it's also a time that we tie in the loose ends. So if our bakers deliver the cake, oftentimes they'll say, where's your party? What time can we set up? They'll get all that information. And I will tell you, the opportunities where our bakers get to deliver the cake just are some of the happiest moments and some of the best photos that we get back, because we get to see the bakers with the child, with the cake. And to the baker, that's so much more than a photo. Our bakers take joy in these photos of the kiddos. And even if the family picks up the cake, when a family sends a photo back to the baker, and oftentimes they copy us on it, and we see the little boy or little girl smiling, just the response. You can hear the smile in the emails from the bakers.
It's beautiful. It goes to show, just from the feedback that we receive, from the pictures that we get, this organization is so impactful. It is a feel good in the moment, creating smiles during days where smiles are few and far between.
Yes.
So, what's something that people might not realize about the families that we serve?
Illnesses can be invisible. And you may go to a little kid's house, or you may go to a teenager's house, and they may be happy and smiling today, but they may not have been happy and smiling 5 hours ago or 30 minutes ago. They may have been hooked up to a feeding pump. They may have been hooked up to their port to get whatever medication. They may have a procedure the next day. So it's just, we serve all kiddos that qualify. Just want everyone to understand that just because a child looks healthy does not mean that they are healthy.
Yeah, that's a great point. People saying, kindness into the world, be nice to everybody. You don't know what they're going through. But when you're dealing with Icing Smiles and the population that we serve, that message hits home so hard that even if you're seeing the mom at the grocery store, no, she's not physically going through whatever her child is, but she needs that smile. She needs that happiness put into the world. And it's a huge part of what makes what we do so important. So before we wrap up, Lauren, let's do a really quick, myth or fact. Let's make sure that the families listening understand fully what we're doing. So do the families have to pay for their cake?
No.
It is fully free. It's a beautiful part about our program. Is it only for birthdays?
Absolutely not. As we mentioned, they could be for anything: graduation, end of the year, celebration, end of treatment, May 4th, even.
Get creative, have fun. A cake is a great reason for any event, for any celebration, and every day is worth celebrating.
Absolutely.
So is the program only for children who are currently in treatment?
So Icing Smiles policy states that the child has to be within 2 years of active treatment.
Great. So are the cakes limited in design?
So not limited in design as far as you can provide us. We just do not allow you to request specifics for your cakes.
Great. And do we do anything besides cakes?
We do cookies, decorated sugar cookies.
Yay! Well, that's a perfect way to end today. We've had a lot of fun talking about Xavier, your story, Lauren, and how you got to Icing Smiles. A little teaser to end on there that we do have an incredible cookie program. So for our cookie bakers out there listening, check us out on the website. And then for our families, just know our cookie program is a surprise. It's something special that we get to provide to you. So not a request, but join our cake program and you never know what'll end up in your mailbox.
That's right.
Well, thanks, Lauren, for today. It's been great chatting.
Awesome. Thank you, Chelsea.
Thank you for listening to the Sweet Smiles podcast, where smiles are baked into every story. If today's story inspired you, we invite you to learn more about how you can support the mission of Icing Smiles, whether that's by volunteering, donating, or simply sharing our story. You can find out more information at www.icingsmiles.org. Until next time, keep spreading kindness and helping us bake more smiles.